Now, I imagine the reason that you're watching this is because you've got one of these. I call it a pain in the arse, but you might call it a Mark 6 Fiesta. And if you've come here from my last video, maybe you're a new subscriber, this isn't going to be about whether I'm going to be wearing a dress on camera again anytime soon. But maybe stick around, you might learn something. Who knows? All right, let's get into it. So get in there, start cranking handbrake. You don't want the car rolling away once you start jacking it up. And I know I feel like I'm pointing out the obvious, but I'm going to use jack stands as well as the jack to hold the car up because my face isn't load bearing. So how about a little experiment? This car has 114,000 miles and it's 18 years old. And I know that the power steering fluid's never been changed because it's been in my family since new. Let's have a look. Now it should be about cherry red colour. That's kind of the colour that we're looking for. Oh dear. So I have to get the oil pan under there and myself. And we're going to be looking near the auxiliary drive belt splash guard. And it should be attached, but on my car it's not, it's broken off. But here it is, it's hanging there. And I've got to unclip it and drain it into the oil pan, ready for recycling like a good person that I am. So I'm going to keep cranking it being the wheel. Did that about 30 or so times, just to make sure that I can get all the fluid out that I can. And patience is a virtue here, it takes a while. So I connected the hoses back together and added about 250ml of the new ATF. And that's just going to ensure that I have enough left over after I've dropped the system again to add it back and top it up to its full capacity. This time I've done it off camera, but again, wheel, crank, over 30 times, and I'm going to drop it again. So I'm going to share with you a little secret now. The Fiesta, much like any other car with EFI, has a clear flood mode, which you can enter by turning the key to the second position, pushing the throttle all the way to the floor, and then cranking it. And that's going to turn the engine over, but not start it, because it's not going to inject any fuel into the cylinders. And I'm going to be using this to turn the pump for the power steering whilst turning the wheel right to left. And I have to time myself 30 seconds to make sure that I don't turn the engine over for longer than that or risk burning out the starter motor. We're about ready to put this hot mess back together, so clip up those hoses, top up the ATF, and remember, crank 30 seconds, no more, and right, left, give the starter motor a good 5 minutes to cool off as well. We don't want the next video to be a starter motor video now, do we? And now at this point, after doing the old right-left treatment for God knows how long, I've actually started the engine. So we're going to be making sure that the fluid level stays the same, and we can't hear any gurgling noises coming from the power steering pump. If that happens, we can turn off the engine and just keep pumping it through, doing the cycle with it cranking, pumping it through, and just make sure that the level stays the same. Also, if the fluid level does drop, just turn the engine off for a little while and let it all settle down before you add a little bit more fluid, and that's just going to help the air come to the surface. And yeah, that's all looking pretty good, so I think we can go ahead and cap it off. And finally, triumphantly, I could let down my beloved, crappy little car. So I'm a little out of focus, and before I go ahead and button everything up, I just wanted to mention one last thing. See, I am, if we do a little bit of quick maths, about 3.1 times out of the recommended service interval for this particular thing. And that's not good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pop the cap off. And in the beginning, I pulled out a piece of tissue paper. And we're going to do it again. So it's not quite perfectly red yet. So I think what I would have to actually do is do this entire process again. Not the most ideal thing in the world, but there you go. That's just what happens when you neglect something for so long. So, I got my next weekend sorted then. And like the great philosopher Jagger once said, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, your power steering fluid's still going to be black. But that's how you do the job anyway. So thank you for watching.